Hello there. Hi, welcome to Launch Lab at the end of the year 2023. My name is Alex Sabatelli Rader, and our co-hosts are not here this evening. They are in Costa Rica. They had a big storm last night and they are out of power. She was able to get on and use some data to get on her phone and let me know that they did not have any internet service and we're not going to be able to make it tonight, which was kind of okay because I had this idea that I was going to do for the Leadership Lab launch on the 8th. And I thought, why would I hold this back from you guys? This should be everybody needs this work. And this is the perfect time of the year for us to get aligned and to figure out what are our deepest drivers and what is our why, like the why beneath the why, what's going to really, really take everything in your life, everything to that next level. And I didn't want to hold that back from you guys. And so I had already, when I first reached out to them, I said, I really wanted to do this training today and gift you guys with it. And as it turned out, they weren't going to be able to make it. So thank you for your grace in that. And I guess everything works out the way it's supposed to. So we're recording. This will be something you might want to come back to, and you're probably going to want to send people to this in the future. And I'm hoping that this may end up actually living on Build 331 because this training is so foundational. It's so earth-shattering in terms of what it can do for you and moving you forward in this next year or anytime you decide to do this and realign with yourself to find your own North Star. And so I'm really excited about doing this with you guys. And I would love to, I don't know how long it's going to take. I haven't done this training for probably a couple of years. It's one of my favorites. I actually keep it on my site. So it's just something that I think everybody should have access to. And so I'm going to share my screen with you, I believe, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through what this process is. But in general, the most important thing to know is that this is really a date with yourself. It's going to take, some time to really dig. I mean, if you really want to get the most out of something, like really trying to find out what is your innermost driving force that you can align your entire life with. This is not about coming up with a mission statement. This is about coming up with, like, uncovering what is truly your motivation, your deepest North Star. That's the best way to put it. And I call it your passion path. And you can align every single area of your life, every role in your life to this. And what'll happen is, in the process of uncovering this and doing the steps and really being honest about it and taking the time with it, is that it's going to light you up. And you're going to find that not only are you able to align the things that you're currently doing, but the things that are unlike that alignment are going to start to show up, and you're going to start noticing the things that are out of alignment that need to be cleared out of your life in order to make room for that perfect life. This is a beautiful thing to share with any of your significant people in your life that are close to you, that you live close with. And certainly to invite them to do as well, in order to kind of put your heads together, especially if you have, a life partner, spouse, what have you, to be able to be vulnerable and share with them what really drives you, what really moves you forward. And what I love about this from a business standpoint, of course, is, like, we just did this whole soulful selling series and how to uncover what drives people, what their innermost needs are, and their desires and their frustrations, and what they want in their life. And when you attach something this core, this deep, to anybody, it's like you just light them on fire, and people will move mountains for what matters. So that's what I want to just kind of give as a foundation. Is that worth doing? And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I want you all to know that I have in the chat box right now a link for this document for you to be able to grab and download and have for yourself. And also, I'm hoping that this will be housed in YouTube, either as a pinned comment or within the description itself, so that you'll be able to access this without a problem. Otherwise, you can DM me on our team website. Okay, so I don't know how long this will take to get through, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and share the document with you and just kind of walk through it with you so that you get a good sense of how this kind of works. Let's see if I got this kind of clean. And I'm going to put some glasses on so I can actually see. There we go. That's not very clear, is it? All right. So It's called the passion path process, as you can see. So I'm just going to read through this a little bit. I don't know if I'll skip around or not, but I just want you to know that if you're just listening in, that this is what this is about. But again, you'll have full access to this, and this will take some time. And I tell you, the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it, and you'll totally understand that. And I'll just share. I'll share at the end kind of what happened for me when I did this the very first time. It was pretty phenomenal what happened, and then revisiting 6 months later, it was kind of mind-blowing actually what happened. So I'll share that with you after. So this passion path process. So basically misalignment is the root of so many feelings and circumstances that you may be experiencing in your life. Misalignment. I mean, everything that I stand for and everything that I've done in business has always been about helping people to get into their highest potentiality and to be in alignment. So this really is that foundational piece. Sometimes it feels subtle, like boredom or frustration, which can show up often as procrastination or busyness or reluctance to take the next right action in your life or in your work. And other times it's powerful and even disabling, like emptiness or hopelessness, like sticking in a job you hate because it feels safe or because you don't trust your own ability to create something more. And clearly, these are only a sliver of possibilities, but of course, overall, it's the struggle that seems to best describe what misalignment creates. So to be clear on what excites you, what brings you joy, what your ever-expanding purpose is to define your compass. And this compass is always directing you, whether you're conscious of it or not. And the only way that you know if you're aligned to it and heading in its guiding direction is the way that you feel. So when you feel good, you're in alignment. When you feel not so good, you're in opposition to it. And honestly, guys, you can feel this in the heart. You can feel a contraction in the heart or the solar plexus, like that gut contraction, when you are out of alignment with whatever is in your mind or whatever thoughts that you're holding in that moment or actions that you're taking. When they're out of alignment, you feel contraction in the body. It literally speaks to you. Pay attention to that. When you're in alignment, you feel expansive and open. So always when you feel that contraction, ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing, thinking, saying that is out of alignment with how source is seeing this right now, or how my higher self is seeing this right now? Because that is a clear indication right there of misalignment, is that closure feeling. So pay attention to your body. Your body is absolutely a barometer for this. You're always creating, like what you've got or not. It's the truth that you're living what you've called forth for yourself. This passion path process is a profound way for you to get crystal clarity and on purpose. Your awareness of your passion path gives you the way out of reaction and back into alignment, where all that you want and all that you've ever wanted awaits you. So what this process is going to help you do is it's going to help you discover your unique greatness and potential, uncover your true passion and direction, gain clarity and vision of your ideal life, tap into your deepest motivation, align and balance your life and your life work. And these things alone are just the tip of the iceberg, because it actually blesses you in every interaction when you're in alignment, period. Because when you're in alignment with this, you're in alignment with your soul. And that comes and exudes out of your energy and touches everyone else's soul. So it changes relationships as well with everyone and anything in your vicinity. So very, very impactful. You're going to see how living in the clarity of your passion path and creating your own life from this foundational aligned space, you can truly design and live the life of your dreams and create an extraordinary business in the process. And this is the first step for you to step into your sweet spot. Your passion path is about leading a life that's consistent with your innermost desires, your core values, and your beliefs. It's a life that feels right every day, gives you a deeper sense of fulfillment and meaning with every year that passes, and it's a life that you live intentionally rather than randomly. So very important with that, and beautiful to align with your work. In that simple statement lies the key to living a happy and fulfilled life, a life that's meaningful to you, a life in which your business plays a significant role, but far from the only role. It's a life of joy and possibly not the life you're leading now, possibly. Your passion path is your innermost driving force. It's the source of the vitality, the commitment, the vision that you need to get the most out of your life and to create a remarkable business in that process. It is that which, more than anything else, gives you a sense of direction and purpose, motivates you to your highest levels of energy, and sustains you over the long haul. And truly, it is your compass. So through the guidance of your passion path statement, which is what you end up with at the end, and this is not a mission statement, I promise you, but through that guidance, you can eliminate the energy drains of your life, make clear decisions from your most powerful place, feel inspired and energized to take action, create an effortless life. I'm missing a word in there, as you achieve all that you want, and live the abundance of health, love, prosperity, and wholeness that's available right now. All right. So let's go through the process. The elusive passion path. The vast majority of people aren't in touch with their passion path. It's there. It's within all of us, but most of us simply haven't made the conscious discovery yet, at least not yet. We're not creating this thing, guys. It is an uncovering. So is it really that important? Yes. Heck yes. Understanding your passion path gives you the ability to live intentionally rather than accidentally, to shape your life rather than live whatever life happens to you. And in fact, it's the only reason to bother discovering the passion path at all. Otherwise, you can simply live randomly, take your chances, and settle for whatever joy and whatever pain come your way. Your core values, beliefs, desires shape your passion path, but most people don't understand their core values very well, and many have false impressions of their core values. We all have known people who've worked for some high level of achievement only to find out that having reached it, their success is hollow, somehow unsatisfying. And we've also known people whose lives, whether they're successful in the conventional sense or not, experience deep satisfaction and joyful contentment. The difference is that in the first case, success was not consistent with the passion path. And in the second case, the passion path was served. And have you ever heard of that term, midlife crisis? Quarter life crisis? I swear kids are having quarter life crises these days. It seems odd that so many people aren't very aware of their passion path because we all have a built-in barometer to tell us if we pay attention, when we're in touch with it, and if we touch it in negative or positive ways. And that barometer, like I said before, our feelings, our emotions. And why is this important? Because our emotional barometer can help lead us to our passion path. So now, of course, the dreaded ego. We need to be aware of the ego in uncovering the real passion path. You please beware of your ego as it wants you. Please beware of what your ego wants as you come to understand your passion path. Your passion path is something deeper, more fundamental, more you than money, status, power, competition, possessions, or celebrity, or anything else of the like. While they can be important in your own way or their own way, they're not driving forces in your life. Those are outside, those are external. How do you determine your passion path? Well, there's a process here that we're going to follow to give you a clear understanding of this. And it's intensely, like seriously intensely personal. Some people breeze through it easily. It depends, right? Like I'm a transformation junkie. I do this stuff all the time. I love this stuff. Other people, it's going to be a serious appointment with yourself and maybe even some kind of adaptogens or something to stay nice and calm as you dive in. Some are really challenged and they go through bouts of confusion and self-appraisal before they understand what their passion path is all about. But virtually everyone learns from it. The end result is to create a force for guiding your life and the important elements within your life, among them, of course, your business. This is a business call, but hey, like if you're going to take this all the way, this is a life choice, isn't it? And what about the people you invite in your team and helping them to align to what matters most with them, right? This is community. This is relationship. This is big. So get a little selfish. It's all about you. Your passion path is unique to you. It's about what you truly want for yourself. It's not about the obligations you have to others. It's not about what others expect of you. Think only about yourself and what you want your life to be like. It's difficult for many of us. We're accustomed to putting others first or taking responsibility for them, right? Isn't that what a parent or a boss or a friend does? Well, for the moment, we're going to let go of all these responsibilities and shoulds. Don't should on yourself and indulge yourself and think in terms of your own self-interest. Think in terms of dreams and fantasies and reach for what you want. All right. So, how do you know you've got it? When we get to the end of this process, you're going to look for the fire. It takes careful thought to discover your passion path, the one that fits you uniquely, the one that provides a sense of direction and purpose, and the one you feel in your gut. It's easy to come up with something that sounds good or that should be a good passion path, but doesn't really motivate you. It would be a mistake to go through the thinking and the worksheets that are provided here just to arrive at a passion path that just seems okay, but that's not in your heart of hearts. It just doesn't have that fire of your heartfelt purpose in life. So look deeply and honestly into yourself, figure out what you really want from your life, condense it into a brief statement once we go through the steps here, and use it as an internal guiding light as you plan and manage your life, and certainly, of course, your business. So what you can expect from the process is a matter of discovery, not invention. You don't create it. It already exists within you. As I said before, it's a way of discovering what's already there, this process. For most people, the process involves new ways of looking at themselves and their lives, asks you that you question your assumptions about your life and your core values. It requires that you use your feelings, your internal barometer, that emotional guidance to guide you. It's an intensely personal experience, a process that gets you in touch with what's truly and fundamentally important to you. And let me just tell you, actually, I'll tell you when I tell my story. I'll go off on a rabbit trail here. So getting started, let's go through the process now. So you start the passion path process by quickly making lists of what you want and what you do not want in your life. Yes, I know you've heard this before, but trust me, we're going deep. So you're going to be starting with that, and I'll go through each of these steps. Then you are going to apply your thoughts and your feelings to the lists, narrowing them down to the most important do wants and don't wants. Next, you're going to identify what gets in the way of your passion path. And finally, you're going to do some writing that results in a brief statement or the essence of your passion path. This process can be intense, like I said, at times, but so rewarding. It's really one of the most valuable things you'll ever do for yourself. And again, every once in a while, every number of years, I will do this again. I don't do it every single year because it's so right on. But every once in a while, when things have shifted for a while or a big life change happens, I like to check in, tweak a little bit, make sure that it's still got that burning fire to it. And, sometimes it's a word here, a word there, but just going through that process again, as we expand and grow, and also expand and grow in consciousness and see how far we've come. Sometimes we things can shift. So it's really something to revisit and hang on to. So again, as you expand and grow each year, so too does your passion path from personal experience. In this, I recommend you repeat it, like I said. So to begin, I recommend that you create both the time and the peaceful space to do this work. The questions to stimulate your thinking are most helpful if you take the time to write down your answers. I did this. It's so important to do it. And when you write things out, I'm telling you, when you put pen to paper, you cannot lie on paper. And sometimes these questions will stimulate something and you go to write it down, and it's almost hard to write stuff down because you can't lie to yourself in writing. I don't know what it is. Not that I like to lie to myself, but it can be really, really intense. I'm just letting you know sometimes to be really honest with yourself. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. All right, so the character traits and the values that are listed are also there for you to ponder, as well as to stimulate you to become, or to a better understanding of yourself and what's most meaningful to you and who you wish to become. I suggest you highlight, star, or even rank those character traits and values that evoke the most positive emotion for you. So the questions to stimulate your thinking. So again, this is all in documentation here for you. There's all kinds of stuff just to really kind of warm you up here. Like, what do you want your life to look and feel like? What do you value most? What's important to you? Things like this. What do you daydream about? How do you want your life to feel on a day-to-day basis? Not look, feel. Okay. What would you like to be able to say about your life after it's too late to do anything about it? If you no longer had to work, how would you spend your time and with whom? Right? So Yeah, lots of honest, 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 honest. What are your greatest strengths? What are your greatest weaknesses? What motivates you to perform above and beyond the call of duty? So there's a number of questions here. So you want to start with that for sure. And then, of course, go through this character traits and values list. And again, circle, star, underline, highlight. It's not in the perfect formatting, guys. I'm sorry, it's not. I can see I'm missing the word N on passion, resourcefulness. The S dropped to the second line. Whatever, did my best. Anyways, it's not so bad. I guess it's been a few years since I've updated this, so maybe I'll work on it. Anyways, it's really, really helpful to kind of go through it and really just start and circle those things, highlight those things that really stand out to you, that really resonate with you. And that's going to tell you a lot about yourself as well. So I'm going to go through the process now. Let me take a little sip of my tea, and then I'll go through the actual 5 steps of the process with you. Okay, so while I'm having a sip of my tea, I'm just going to ask if there's anybody here. Let me see. We got a bunch of participants. I'm going to check the chat real fast. If you guys want to chat with me quickly and let me know how you're doing, if you have anything that's coming up for you at the moment. I'd love to make this a little bit interactive. It's not going to take too long for me to get through the process itself. Will we be able to get these questions in a document? Yes, if you look right above here, you'll find a link in the chat box here for a link to this entire process and what I've been reading. Hi, Alana. Thank you. Anybody else? I will keep this chat box open and I'll take a peek at it a little bit later. If you guys have any questions, please definitely go ahead and ask. All right, so we're going to get into the process itself. There's 5 steps. Number 1, what don't you want your life? What don't you want in your life? Okay, we start with the don't wants because most people have no problem complaining about what they don't want. It's usually right there in the forefront. So I want you to make a long list of what you don't want in your life, everything you can think of that causes you anger, stress, frustration, fear, hatred, embarrassment, dissatisfaction, whatever it is that you don't want in your life. Don't think too much about each item. If you have difficulty making a list, you can use the previous questions, again, those stimulating questions to get you thinking. When it's complete, after you've got this list out, just dump it all out, go back over the list, and this time think carefully about each item and be aware of the feelings that each stirs. Okay, circle the items that trigger the strongest negative emotions, those things that you most want not to be a part of your life, those things that really got you. Don't circle more than a few items. Just focus on the most important ones, the ones that really evoke that negative emotion. Again, we're not going to linger here. So don't worry about like, oh, I'm going to manifest this. If I do this, it's okay. We're going to start with the don't wants. Those are the easier ones, but we really want to get to the juicy ones. Okay. Here's a little more on what you don't want. Often it's easier to know what you don't want than what you do want. A good way, of course, to begin is to searching for your passion path is to become clear about these things that you know you don't want, making this list and not stopping writing until you put everything down that you can think of. There's a basic premise at work here. It says that focusing on what you don't want creates more of the same. These things that you know you don't want are probably things you think about frequently. You probably play them over and over in your head, in your mind. And the result is that you're mentally rehearsing them and practicing them and reinforcing them. They become part of your energy field. In sports and music, there's a technique called visualizing. The athlete or musician mentally goes through the right motions in preparation for the actual event. It's been proven to be a powerful technique for improving performance. And the same technique works for improving any other aspect of your life. But the dark side is that your habit of fault finding and focusing on what goes wrong, then your mind stays on that negative. And even though you wish for the positive, you're mentally rehearsing the negative. Again, we just talked about this in the Soulful Selling series. And that energy is literally like pig pen from Peanuts. Like this, it's like if you could see the little cloud of negativity around you as you're approaching somebody, they sense it. It transfers. We don't want this. So all right, so we're told obviously not to think about a pink elephant, but what's the first thing that pops in your mind? Of course, the pink elephant, excuse me. We have to overcome this habit by flipping it, all right? So why do we start this exploration by focusing on the negative. It's simply a way of reaching or discovering what you really do want. Once you have a clear picture of what you don't want, it's a simple process of reversing the items to determine the truest wants. So again, list everything you can think of that causes you anger, stress, frustration, fear, hatred, embarrassment, dissatisfaction, anything you don't want in your life. Don't think too much about it, but exhaust the list, as many as you can think of. And then, second step, on a fresh sheet, nice and clean, you can put a little perfume on it if you want. What do you want in your life? Okay, list everything you can think of that you do want. Look at what deepest don't wants that you just did and underlined and really got that feeling for. And what do they tell you about what you do really want? Focus on what makes you happy, fulfilled, satisfied, what gets you energized, motivated, and purposeful. Avoid the superficial and the material and go for the deeply satisfying and profoundly rewarding life experiences. And again, don't think too much about it. Just write as many of those that you can. All right. And as before, you want to go back over the list, circle the items that you most want to be part of your life. This time, circle those items that have the strongest attraction, the strongest positive feelings, but don't circle more than a few items. 1, 2, maybe a half a dozen at most. All right. A little bit more on what you do want. When do you feel most free? What is it that makes you feel most in touch with yourself? What gives you the greatest sense of fulfillment? Everyone has moments of peak experience. What are those moments for you? What do you want your life to stand for? What's really important to you? This is what your passion path is all about. So again, you start by making that list. Think about what you appreciate, what's important to you, the parts of your life you treasure, and that what gives you your deepest sense of satisfaction. If your list fills up with material things, dig deeper. Your passion path isn't about stuff. It's about being alive. So again, as before, list everything you can with what you do want. Look at what your deepest don't wants tell you. Focus on what makes you happy, fulfilled, satisfied, energized, motivated, and on purpose, and avoid the superficial and material. Go for the satisfying, profoundly rewarding life experiences. And again, don't think too much about it. Just write as many as you can. All right. And circle those ones that really have juice for you. The third step is what are your priorities and what's in your way. Oh, and by the way, the don't want list, by all means, safely, carefully destroy it. You don't want to keep that around. By all means, like, if you have a fireplace, or you can safely burn it and maybe have a little ritual and get rid of that stuff so you're no longer ruminating it and creating it unconsciously, go ahead and safely get rid of that. Anyways, okay, third step. What are your priorities and what's in your way? So now you want to write down those most important items, the ones that you circled, right? Or placed a number in front of, or whatever, if you did it electronically, from that list of what you want in your life. And you're going to write them in order of importance. Think carefully about them, each one, and write down what, if anything, is keeping you from having them. Think especially hard about self-imposed limitations on this. Okay, so again, prioritizing and barrier busting is what we're about here. We're going to copy that circled items list from your do want list onto this new list. As you do, again, think about each item, try to rank them in order of importance. For each one, think about what gets in the way, what blocks you from having those do wants. And finally, and this is important, identify those self-imposed limitations. What barriers you put in your own way with limiting beliefs about yourself and with counterproductive habits, self-sabotaging habits. A little more on what gets in your way. Here's a prediction. As you make that list, you're going to think of some things you're going to be tempted to ignore because, oh, that's not realistic for me. Or who am I to want that? Or that's not something a person like me should want. Or I don't have the ability to, whatever. Do not impose limitations on yourself. For the most part, limitations turn out to be more imaginary than real, and even completely unrealistic wishes, if they're heartfelt, tell you something about your core values that is valuable to know. So don't ignore heartfelt desires simply because they seem impossible, undeserved, embarrassing, inappropriate, or not within your grasp. Dig within yourself for the source of the emotion behind the desire and see where it leads you. More often than not, it's going to lead you to a new source of fulfillment. So again, write down those most important items, the ones you circled, or put a number in front of if you did it electronically from the list of what you do want in your life. Write them in order of importance, think carefully, and write down what, if anything, is keeping you from having them, especially those self-imposed limitations. All right, that's a big one. The fourth step, and this was so profound for me personally, is to write your own eulogy. So years and years from now, after a happy and fulfilling life, you're given the opportunity to write the eulogy that will be given at your memorial service. Assuming you have the life you want from this point onward, what would your eulogy say about your life? So this process here is to write your eulogy. Think of that day far off when you're gone, and all the people who are most important to you are assembled at a memorial ceremony. And you get to write your own eulogy. What do you want it to say? And what do you want to be remembered for? This piece right here was so freaking profound for me in writing it. And 6 months later, I picked this process up. My entire life had changed. My entire circumstances had changed around my business. And I was literally living what I had written in my eulogy after doing this process in 6 months. And not only that, but I had been asked to train this training, or basically how I went from where I was to where I had gotten in 6 months. Like, how did you do that? And I told them I did this process. And then 6 months later, I knew that it was the very process that gave me permission to shift what I was doing, because what had come into my life after that, which was a business like this, came into my life, and I pivoted from what I was doing to align to my passion path. And I soared with it. And then I was asked to train. I'd never trained like I'm training a lot here because I do now, but this is back in 2004, 2004, maybe. And they said, what did you do? And I said, well, I did this process. Well, can you teach on it? I'm like, sure. So I pulled up all of this work that I'd done, and I read my eulogy, and I started bawling because I was literally about to do exactly what I had written on the eulogy. Was affecting all these lives. I was training people. I was helping people to do all these things. And I literally had written it in the eulogy. And 6 months later, I'm like doing it and training on it. And it was so emotional and so amazing of what could happen by doing this. So I really hope that touches you, because it's that profound to do something like this. We are so powerful. I think we don't even realize the divinity behind, how powerful we are as co-creators. It is really amazing. So this process is going to light you up, I promise. All right. I'm getting teary. All right. I got to stay on track. That eulogy is huge. Okay. Fifth step. So all of this work has led to a much deeper understanding of you and what's meaningful to you. So this statement, this is what we're writing, that you're about to create, is a simmering down and a condensing of all this work that you just completed, or when you complete it, of course. Okay. It's to express the essence of what you want your life to be about. It's the acid test for your passion path statement. Or what is that acid test is your internal barometer, that emotional guidance. When you write it down, you should feel energy, enthusiasm, commitment, a sense of like, yes, an absolute full body. Yes, this is me. Goosebumps. And if not, you haven't gotten it. This is not a mission statement. I promise you, this is not a mission statement. You want to keep going until it literally lights you up. Okay. So when you write that statement in the fewest possible words, write a statement of the essence of your passion path, and try for a phrase or a single sentence that describes what you want your life to be like in order for it to express what's most important to you. And just know that it's the work behind it that puts the essence into the statement for you. It's not the statement itself. It's everything that creates the statement. that energy is then infused in that statement that is perfectly unique to you. So just understand it's not just a bunch of words. It really isn't. Okay, so what's next? So how does your business fit into this picture? That's the process, by the way. Your business is an important vehicle, maybe the most important vehicle through which you can achieve your passion path. If it's to contribute to the life you want, however, your business has to serve your passion path. It can happen in either of two ways. You can choose to develop your business in such a way that it frees you to pursue other interests, right? We know that brand partnership can certainly do that. Or the business could itself be a reflection of the very essence of what's most important to you in life. And so that's important to understand because, again, this is going to motivate you and align you to what you're doing, whichever way it is, or it could be both. Personal note, my business, for instance, total alignment of my passion path. This was my statement last time. To inspire, well, this was actually a while ago. So because this was in 2019, my statement at the time was to inspire and guide women to gracefully transform their lives to live in their highest awareness, purpose, meaning, and performance. Period. That was it. It's not limited to women now, and it's now even further than this. So I'm actually going to be doing this since I'm putting it out here now. I'm doing it in the next few days. At my soul level, it's to restore women to their powerful feminine core. Really, that is really deep for me. So this represents so much more to me than the statement could mean to another, and it truly is my guiding and motivating force. So this is, sorry, I don't need to read through all of this right now here. My foundation for decisions that I make every day. Blessed to have uncovered it. Yes, yes, yes. All right. What really matters is if you've come to the conclusion that the discovery of your passion path is one of the most important things you'll get from mentoring or working with me or listening to me. Sorry, this is part of my coaching stuff. You get the point. So it may seem a little odd that in order to get your life work or your business in shape, you first have to look within yourself, but it's really not odd at all. When all is said and done, the bottom line is you. So the rest of this, I do believe, yeah, it's a little, I'm giving you this document. It is one of my coaching documents from my previous business. So I hope you don't mind that little piece. But the thing that's also really cool at this point is that you can also now use this passion path process to take a look at the different areas of your life and start to set goals and objectives to the different areas of your life. Now, let me go ahead and stop share. And I also want to invite questions, you guys. So please, 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 we have another like 7 minutes or something before we break. And then I'll be back for the next call after this doing the opportunity meeting. But I want you to be able to, at this point, once you have your statement, if you do goal setting at all, I used to do a lot of goal setting. Now I tend to just kind of flow. Like I have intentions for different things that I like to align with my passion path, but I don't necessarily chunk it down into like weekly, monthly goals like I used to do. That's just kind of how I've evolved personally. But if you do, this is such a really, really great way to be able to make sure that you're setting your trajectory on the right aim, because you can aim just a little bit off and be so far off by the end of the year or 2 years down the line off of your passion path if you don't do something like this to set that compass just right. So I really want to encourage that you guys take the time to do this. Certainly, if we're looking at LifeWave, right? I mean, what an incredible opportunity. There's so many different things that this can fulfill. Not only, of course, the product itself, if you're interested in anything from head to toe, hair to toenails, with helping people with their health. And if, I mean, it's such a broad range that can fit within, people in any field around that. But then, of course, the business itself, and in helping people become the best versions of themselves, helping to free people to do what they want to do, leadership, just stepping out of your comfort zone to become better as a speaker or to start training. I mean, there's just so many different things that we can do. And then of course the business itself can align perfectly for you and be that source of passion and joy. Or it could free you up so that you can do something else that's more in alignment in terms of making sure that you have that fulfillment as well. It could be the thing that helps to supply it. I call this a power biz for that reason, because it can be a perfect alignment, or it can be in alignment to give you the freedom that you need, the money you need, the time that you need to do that thing that really lights you up. And so again, when you line up your business with that, with your passion path, you know that you're not doing something that's soul sucking or that's wasting your time or that's holding you back from what really matters when you get everything kind of sorted out in that way. So, all right. Anybody have any questions? Let me see. It doesn't look like there are any. So, and I'm not on YouTube, so I'm not sure if there's anything there, but I'm just going to.
Nothing on YouTube.
Nothing on YouTube?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and call the meeting and say thank you so much for your attention. I hope that you do this. And please, please, please do me a favor and make some comments in the group, in the Facebook group. If you do this, in fact, it might be kind of fun next week if you want to show up next week. If anybody does the work and wants to post their passion path, like that would be really fun to review it and get more people doing it. And again, I want to try to get this posted so that, and maybe they'll cut this part out of it so that people can come around and do this. There's just not a better way to start your business than to get yourself super aligned and motivated with something like this. I just cannot encourage it enough. Ilana, again, where is the link? She can't see it. If you scroll up from where you are right now in your chat, I put it right there above. Let me paste it again in the chat here. Hopefully you'll see that there. If not, oh, you see it now. Okay, got it. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Oh, it had disappeared. Okay, got it. Perfect. All right. So we are all set. Thank you guys so much for your attention. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope. And until next call in 10 minutes, I'm doing the opportunity meeting and we get to say stem cells. I'm so excited. All right. See you guys soon. Thanks.